An inconvenient truth is people have to discover the truth for themselves. And that's inconvenient, especially for woke culture or cancel culture. But the reason why this is the case is because when people don't come to the truth themselves, right? If people are following what they think is the right thing to say, the politically correct thing to say, what happens is they don't really learn the truth underneath the thing that they are saying. So one of my friends, when I was a lawyer, a public defender, she came up with this term called limousine liberals, which I really love, which is basically, to me, these people who, say all of the right things, but they have the convenience of their lifestyle, that they're kind of removed from the issues, so it's easy for them to say the right things. And so when we are confronted with these new situations that are a little bit more difficult, that actually affect people personally, they aren't necessarily going to apply the lessons because they've never learned them. They've just learned what they should be saying. So for me, an example of this, which is a political example, but is so I did some research while I was in law school about how Germany actually did a really good job compared to the US with education post-Holocaust. They had, compared to the US, as far as our relationship with slavery, that a lot of people understood what was going on. The museums were very good. The memorials throughout the city were very good. And so because of that, there was this consciousness in Germany that was very different than the US. And to me, what I think is interesting about this is of how it played out, because I'm not that familiar with German culture. I haven't really been to Germany, or I've been there like a day. So anyways, I have a friend who lives there, and she told me, and she's part Jewish, and she told me that basically when everything started with in Palestine with Israel, I mean, obviously with everything that happened October 8th of last year, that a lot of people were, coming up to her and apologizing and very pro-Israel about everything that had happened. And to me, this feels like an example, and I'm sure we can think of other examples too, of people who are taking this thing of what we should say, but aren't really able to be flexible with it and apply it in different situations. Because in my mind, what is happening to Palestinian people is also this perpetuation of violence. And so, we are taught what we should believe. And so then we feel like there's this side or this thing it's almost like this, constriction of okay, now I take on this identity, right, of what I should be doing, instead of when you learn a lesson, you embody the energy, right, versus I know what to say in this situation. And so because of that, I don't really know how to apply it, right? I know how to apply it as far as, okay, people say when this happens, it's basically like in school, a memorization test versus like really knowing something, right? Memorizing things of what we should be saying versus someone who's worked with a certain tool their whole lives, so they understand how to use it in different ways. They understand these deeper levels of knowledge of that tool, right? Of how do we actually apply these principles that we really care about, these values that we learn from the history, we learn from things that are happening, these deeper principles of values of, okay, I care about not perpetuating violence. I care about not perpetuating hatred. I care about these deeper values versus I think that in this situation, I should say this thing. And so the whole point is that it can be this kind of slippery slope, a little bit dangerous thing that can happen as a result of us putting our opinions on people and not allowing them to arrive to these these opinions themselves and going through that inquiry process so that it can become this deeper value truth rather than, I think I should say this in this situation because I want to be safe in my community, and I know that if I say something else, I won't be safe and I won't be liked and I won't be part of the community. So that doesn't help us with these deeper things, and then it just perpetuates history repeating itself. So yes. Okay, I hope everyone has a good rest of the day. Bye.